Right, if you just joined us, you're still watching Enterprise on Friday on Enterprise Television. Now to our main conversation for today. Is it indeed Uhuru for the local government system in Nigeria? That's the big question. We seek to explore this morning as the Supreme Court of Nigeria on Thursday beat the expectations of skeptics to affirm the financial autonomy of Nigeria's 774 local governments.
And that's very true. In the unanimous judgment of its 7-member panel, the Apex Court unanimously upheld the suit brought by the federal government to strengthen the independence of local governments in the country.
A member of the panel, Emmanuel Ajim, who delivered the court's lead judgment, held that the local governments across the country should, from Thursday, receive their allocations directly from the Accountant General of the Federation.
Very true. He ruled that it is illegal and unconstitutional for governors to receive and withhold funds allocated to local government areas in their states.
He also noted that ordinarily, the Nigerian constitution permits the federal government to pay local government allocations directly to them or through the state governments.
True. Let's quote a line that probably sums up the mood of the court. The demand of justice requires a progressive interpretation of the law.
The new arrangement authored by the Supreme Court empowers the Accountant General of the Federation to bypass the state governments in the monthly disbursement of federal allocations to the local governments. And still with us to do justice are Dr. Olanka Oyemile and Barrister Evans Ofeli. Thank you, gentlemen, for hanging around.
Thank you very much.
Barrister Evans, I'd love to start with you. I would love your reaction to what's happening, the trendy story is happening right now in Nigeria.
Yes, what the Supreme Court has done is to give a landmark judgment to bring an end to the squabble of the states and local government issue as it relates to autonomy. Now, the judgment is to the effect that the funds standing in credit between the federal government and the local government should be sent directly to the local government, as against the wordings of Section 162, subsection 1(2) of the 1999 Constitution. Now, the truth is that the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court interpret the Constitution. It is the court that will tell you what the law is, and not exactly what you are reading when there's a dispute like this. And the Supreme Court has also made an order to restrain governors from summarily winding up democratically elected local government authorities. Okay? Now, holding these two at hand, this seems to be progress to us, for us, because now the local governments can now, as a matter of necessity, use the funds sent to them directly to develop the local government, as against the previous era where the governors hold these funds and not release them to the local governments. But there's a part of this jurisprudence that is not clear. This judgment, if they don't rework on the process of legitimacy and election at the local government level, this judgment will just be an academic exercise. Because if the governors, I have not seen the CTC of the judgment anyway, but if the governors are still in charge, or the state is still in charge for conducting election and determining who gets into the local government across the states, then politicians will still use, or governors will still use their might and whatsoever to ensure that whoever becomes a local government chairman must be that person whom, when the money is sent directly to him, he will send it back to the governor.
Or part of it.
Yes, they will go to shrine to take an oath. They will go to everywhere to make sure that they soil these very landmark judgments. What am I saying? What I'm saying in effect is that the judgment ought to have extended beyond sending money directly to them and then stopping local governors from intermeddling with the reforms. It should have gone further as part of the prayers to say that INEC should henceforth conduct elections that will bring in local government chairmen.
But
Even at that,
is that supposed to be simultaneous or in phases?
No, now there are a lot of prayers in the part of the prayers of the Attorney General of the Federation includes that, but I don't know whether it was granted.
Oh.
You know, the CTC is not there now. We're relying on journalists. Journalists sometimes they don't report law well. That is why I like to see the CTC before I start making comments. That's why I say if that order is not part of what was granted, it will defeat the part granted. Yeah, because it's supposed to be wholesome.
Okay.
Sever the local government completely from the apron string of the governors. Okay? Because the truth is that even if you do that and then conduct elections, there is still a threat.
Where exactly?
Yeah, the threat is that the governor will now use state resources to sponsor and fund a candidate to go through the election.
Which is still open to the public to decide.
Hold on. I know. How many public decides election? I'm just telling you the low points of the human society, our society, because government will now be cutting covenant with people, sponsor them through the process, and they do a kill and divide. For the 3 years the local government chairman is going to be in office. Do the people really have powers? Yesterday, they swore in judges. Did you watch the proceedings? The entire politician of this country, they were all at the event.
Yes.
Which is to tell you that power has shifted from the public. It's now the court that decide who becomes what, governor or whatever. So that's why the politicians were there. I'm just saying, when you say the public will decide, which public? This one that there are people are trying to survive. The public, it's not even the public that will decide, it's the public that will go there and, strike an agreement with the politicians, collect money and vote buying, collecting gratification to vote. So if you say the public, well, it's a general statement that the public that should decide. But we know what happens when you ask the public to decide. They will go there and collect money and do the wrong thing, and they will turn around. So I'm just looking at, this is a good judgment, but there are so many ways through which this seeming judgment can still be reduced to what it used to be. And it will make us feel like we never went to court in the first place.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. Over to you, Dr. Lainka. Now, if we should strip down this local government autonomy down to Lagos, looking at Lagos, they have few local government areas that they have more of LCDA. How do you think they will be able to scale through this?
Lagos has
20
according
local governments.
to the constitution, 20 local governments. There we are. They have 37 LCDs. That's 57. Well, the issue will be that if the Accountant General is going to follow what the judgment says, it will only send the money to the 20 local governments.
That's what they've been doing.
So it is now left for the 20 local governments, when they get the money, to now look at it that, okay, out of, for instance, Ikeja, how many local LCDs were carved out of it? The chairman there or whoever, they will all now sit and say, okay, how do we divide it? That might solve that problem. But it will also create its own problem. However, what may I see here is that this judgment, if you check the internet, almost broke the internet, as they say. In fact, it was as big as the wedding of Davido and Toma in terms of discussions and all that. Now, the thing I am seeing there is like, yes, everybody is happy that it has happened, but there are those who understand or who think they understand who have been calling attention to the problem that this is going to create. Some of them have said that, look, what you have done, or what the Attorney General, or what the federal government or the Supreme Court has done, is to cure ringworm and inflict with leprosy, which is greater. The reason is that governors control local governments. Therefore, they give them pittance and all that. But now, you have a situation where you are making the federal government to deal directly with the local government. The problem they are seeing there is that some local government chairmen will therefore not see themselves answerable to the governors again. Ordinarily, they shouldn't be, but in Nigeria, we know what it means. So, there is going to be a clash of interest and a clash of will. Will the local government chairman obey the governor of the state where he is domiciled?
Like he used to.
Or the man that pays the bill? Because as it is now, it is the federal government that is paying the bill directly. So the states have little or will have little or no control over their resources or over their affairs. What I would have wanted the governor, the Attorney General, or the Supreme Court, or whatever to do is, Nigeria is not the only country operating a federal system. How is it done where we copied our federal system from? Why should local government have 20 million paid into the joint account of the state and the local government? And then the governor will look at it and say, oh, okay, you have 20 million. You don't need that 20 million. You only need 3. Why should that happen? The governors that does that should be taken to court and be disciplined. But in a situation where we have now jettisoned that idea that there shouldn't be joint account again, everybody, one of them has their own account. If you have a federal government that controls the state and controls the local government, are we not going to have a situation where in Lagos today, we have APC in power. 57 local, 20 local government and 37 LCDAs. All of them are APC.
Yeah.
Does it mean that there is no PDP in Lagos? So we are going to have that situation repeating itself at the federal level. Today now, we have APC at the federal level. So local governments, Oyo State just conducted its own election. Oyo State is PDP. Every one of them is PDP. So if the federal government is now giving them money directly, you may have a situation where you have the governor, if the governor is PDP, then all the local governments or majority of the local government will likely be APC. That is the problem the governors are running away from. So the federal government now has the carrot, it has the stick, it is controlling everything. How are we sure that we have accused the states of abusing their rights? How are we sure the federal government will not abuse its rights? If the present government does not abuse it, and that is not to say it will not abuse it, what guarantee have we that the government that will succeed it will not abuse it?
All right. So while we take a look at that, Barrister Van Sufeli, some analysts have called this a Trojan horse, an euphemism. You know, I don't know what your take is on that, especially regarding what Dr. Olayinka did say.
Yeah, you know, in this case, what I see is that the federal government have a territory. Federal government have a territory. Abuja is the federal government territory. And in many states, they also have territories. They have federal institutions. Like when you look at INEC now, you see it in every state. If you look at Lagos, there are part of Lagos where federal government have structures and all that. The state governments have a territory. Okay? There are roads that are specifically called state roads. Okay, and the local governments to have territories. Okay, there are roads that are specifically called local government roads, streets.
Yes.
It belongs to local government, right? So every of these tier of government, they have territories. Okay, so I believe that the Supreme Court actually gave the right judgments. It's just that our focus in this country in governance is about money. Have you noticed that it's just about money? Who will collect it? Who will collect it? That's why there's no development. Because if it's for the general good of everyone, it doesn't matter who collects it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who the money is with. We know that when we want to do project, they will bring it out. Do you understand? Well, here, let the governor hold it. Let the governor give them. We are just, the way we are running the state, we are running it like we are running, I don't understand, like everybody is a crook. Then don't allow him to hold it. Let the governor hold it. Let the governor give them this one and see what they have done and give them another one. I mean, what kind of thing is this?
So it's more like an issue of trust.
Yes. So, see, for me, the local government chairman, the funds should be sent directly to them, just like the Supreme Court was clear, 774 local governments. So if you have gone in your state to create anything like creating, it's your business. 774 recognized by the Constitution. You can't do that. Then let this local government chairman, let them now work. But this judgment has put a responsibility on the public. I hope they are aware. The yesterday's judgment has put a big responsibility on the people to ensure that they call their local government chairman to come and work. Because from the next month now, we are going to send money directly to them. So if I come out from my house and I see flood anywhere, I'll drive straight to local government chairman's office.
But
okay, there's flood in my front. Why should there be flood in my front? They have to come and fix it because they have money.
No money.
So that is where we are. The public should rise now. Because before now, they tell you, if you go and meet the governor will ask you to go and meet your local government chairman. If you go to local government chairman, the local government chairman will tell you that the state did not give them enough money. That what they gave them was to pay salary and give traditional ruler their dues.
So how do you explain Section 126 of the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 as amended, which they say is contradictory to the judgment?
162. Yes, the judgment, the provision of 162 says that created joint account. That the federal government, the local government, and the state government operate a joint account. That's why the federal government is to pay the money for both. So the state governor and the local government chairman, they will now decide. But in that fund, in that fund that's sent by the local government, by the federal government, what belongs to the local government is spelled out by law.
Yeah.
You understand? There's the threshold is spelled out just that it's paid into one account. The state government and the federal government paid into one account. Then instead of the governors to take the whole sum of what belongs to the local government and give them. They will not.
Okay.
The governors created this crisis themselves. They don't do that. So our local governments then don't really undertake serious projects.
At all.
Do you remember that in 1999, local government were building roads and streets?
Yes.
Yes. When we just returned to democracy, then they use INEC and other to get them in. They were all fresh. Even the governors were fresh. Nobody was godfather to anybody.
Yeah.
You see that there was development. But as we move further and we are going to move further, a lot of laws were made and adjustments were made and all that. And this now brought us here. Do you know what governors do now? What they do is once that money comes, they give the local government chairman what he needs to pay salaries at the local government council and the dues of the traditional rulers. That's what they do.
And that
then there's 100 million impress. That's all. I have a friend as a local government chairman, so I know. That's all. Then the remaining on the governor will say it's for infrastructure development of the state. You understand? And that is where the corruption is. Because this same governors don't go to the local government to construct their roads, to construct their markets, to construct. What they don't do that. What they do is a councillor, okay, will now take his own allocation and then go build 2 blocks of the market square. Sometimes we'll do gutter or converts and all that. That's all. All the funds are with the governor. Then what they now do is to begin to appropriate it for the next election, to execute the next election, and then begin to gather who will become. They will now start to decide who will become the next speaker, who will become the next person that will represent this. They will now start to build a cocoon. They will now expend the entire money in that cocoon. Then what is left, they will embezzle some, launder some. What is left, they will now use it for the next election.
All right.
Then by the time they exhaust their 8 years, they will now use what is also left to begin to prosecute how to become senators. They will now retire into that place and perpetuate themselves. That's what is going on.
All right. Just before we leave, Dr. Olayinka, this is a milestone achievement by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What exactly did the past administration, what exactly did they not do that made it very difficult for them to have achieved what Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done in just a year plus?
Buhari used executive order, and that executive order, the court threw it out.
Yeah.
That you cannot use executive order to amend the constitution.
Yes.
So Bola Tinubu went to court. That's the difference. Now, it is the court that will tell you what the law is, not what you are reading. Now, the Supreme Court have told you that 162 you are reading is the intentment of the legislature. It's not that the governor holds on to all the money. That the intentment is that the 30 of government should have what belongs to it. And therefore, now they should send it direct to them.
All right, your final take.
Okay, so directly answering what you said, I think the president wants to put his name in the right perspective, and also for people to say that, you know, when he was governor of Lagos State, he has been hammering on fiscal federalism and all that and so on and so forth. Perhaps this is his own way of doing it, that when I said it, I mean it. So he has gone to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has backed him up on that. Let us see what next step he will take.
All right. Choma, that drainage in your community, I think it's time you have to, you have to start calling your local government to let him know that, hey, okay, we own the power now, and therefore you must come account for the millions that has been given to them.
Sure.
Yes, very true. It was really indeed an interesting discussion, if you ask me. I love to say thank you to Dr. Olayinka Yebile for being part of our show. The Pastor Vansifeli. Thank you also for making out time to be with us today, Choma.
Yeah, thank you, Henry. Thank you.
Yes. So this is just about the time we have for our episode today. We'd love to say thank you to you for always giving us your time. We truly do appreciate it. But please do well to visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com, and also like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV S7. I am Henry.
And I'm Choma Okone.
On behalf of the entire team, thank you for watching, and bye-bye for this time.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.